Hello and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel. And in this one we have QIYANA Jungle versus the Wukong Jungle, and obviously we have two champions who are quite interesting. Wukong, whenever he rises to the top of the tree, gets beaten down by the hand of God or Riot and basically says go back down, climb up again. Rinse and repeat the process. Currently we are on the floor, climbing up a little bit. Divine Sunder is still the go-to, but obviously when they take that power away, it affects him indirectly. However, still playable, still serviceable, still will fling feces in the right direction. QIYANA, on the other hand, is whenever she's jungle, she becomes hardcore meta, two-way flex pick guaranteed, and then once more thrown out of the window by Riot, saying we do not allow, except the problem is they buffed her to allow. So it's a bit of a confusing reality when it comes to QIYANA, but every now and then she pops back up. Something allows her to jungle a little bit better, whether it's an indirect buff to attack speed or bonus monster damage, or a Yuma's Ghostblade of Destiny and Hellspawn. This clear is still going to be the absolute juice, you see, because when he starts topside, he will be preoccupied. Yes, he's pathing down to gank bottom lane, as he should be. But what QIYANA can do is say, look, I'm going to deal with this quadrant, and instead of walking through, you know, I don't know, say Red Raptors, Krugs, the bottom lane prio they're going to get, and then use to ward, I'm just going to be seen. So why don't I do Red Krugs Raptors, and then loop around the long way, so even if they push and ward, I will avoid detection. That's exactly the plan, and that's exactly what works, and that's exactly what I do in live coaching and all sorts of coaching, and of course in the jungle courses, which you would have seen in-depth examples of how to do exactly this and how we think about it. Beautifully done. A little bit of a dash, a little bit of a chuck, and a free kill for the QIYANA. Double kill bottom lane. Now the monkey is a little bit annoyed because he's crossing from the red side to the blue side, and it's too late for him. Surely you saw this. Surely you saw this. Cassante mid goes in. He wants to try to get to Q3. We flash Q3. Force the flash from the Seraphine. He probably could have waited just a little bit. The QIYANA's going to get that flash route there. Very nicely done. We'll chuck. We'll go camo. We'll slide and dish. And of course, we'll have one more to finish. Hopefully. Yeah, we get the dash from the E auto attack plus another one. Beautifully done. The Wukong in the meantime is, if I could please swap visions, right? Thank you so much. Has done Wolves Grump into the blue, will now fall down to the Scuttle Crab. But this is exactly the kind of shit you want to do for your QIYANA. If you're Talon, if you're any sort of Smurf type jungler, I'll talk more about this in the main channel, I think, because when you understand that tempo control isn't necessarily just, hey, I'm first here, I'm first there, but it's also, I know what you want to accomplish. Not only will I be first there, but I'll also take away other decisions you can make. Like this guy now can't even go mid lane. I mean, he does go mid lane a little bit because obviously he hasn't based yet, but now we just have so much command because we're going to the top side, you see. We can easily go ahead and gank this Nico who's low HP and obviously is able to do those things. The Q's not quite enough at that particular stage. But this is good, right? This is good pressure. Mundo top lane, my beloved Mundo, who was, you know, changed and gutted for no particular reason in December. Don't ask. Now this guy resets. You see why this is compromising? Is because the QIYANA is able to get ahead of him, take it away. And because it's 247 by the time she's done and, you know, she delays showing, because when you do this, into this, and then you show bottom lane, you're compromising, because if it's warded and you're seen, even if you can get the ganks, you're seen earlier. And what that means is if the enemy jungler is slow at crossing from red to blue side, something I talk a lot about, the cross timer that I don't see talked about a lot, I've been talking about it for years, means that he can flex into vertical. Now with the removal of the, you know, bonus damage, well, removed damage to enemy junglers, you can actually go ahead and do those things again. Do you want to? Have a look at the nice cleaver of, briefcase of Destiny. His investment came back strong. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, fine. Cool. Anyway, so what that allows is, if you look at the Silas video, some flexibility pathing wise, but ideally you don't want to use it top side, right? You want to use the bottom side. So the counter would come off ahead there. So by doing this clear, showing a little later, the guy's already committed to his wolves. He can't vertical. What we can then do is invade and fist if we're feeling strong, or just translate to the mid lane gank as we did. This allows us to reset, go top side, control that gank first as well. Pull back to our blue side. The Wukong, on the other hand, is just up for clearing, getting a scuttle and getting his 28 CS. That's cool. And he tries to gank top lane, but he just cannot because QIYANA already set the Mundo up for success. Although he set himself up for success as well. And now because we know the monkey shows top lane, right? We know he will go for his second spawn Krugs, his second spawn Raptors. And so we can basically trap here or steal. Now we know he is arriving. I don't know why we're kind of big shilling here. We have Dirk, we have 900 in puck. We're not really doing anything. you know, I would definitely look basically this particular stage to have a control ward in pocket if possible, just so I can leave it here or here and maybe go for some counter jungling. Because if I can do that, right, then I can go ahead and gank the bottom lane. And so hopefully you would have seen the pings. I just wanted to go back because the Wukong presupposed that the counter might not. The dragon is just dumb. There's no way she's doing dragon. But definitely could be taking his camps away because he's telegraphed his move. So basically he says, look, is she here or is she not here? Has a cheeky look, realizes she's not hit this, she's not on here either. He's checking because he doesn't know exactly where she is. His benefit of being close to mid lane pushed in and obviously top lane is that he gets at level 5 sooner. So the counter kind of says, all right, we're gonna back off here. And now the Wukong has revealed her location but can't afford to go stealing the Krugs. Also, he will know straight up, okay, that she has done the Raptors already. If you're a high level tracker, which of course you should be, we could be cautious about the Wukong gank here, but I wouldn't really worry too much about it if I'm a level 6 Cassante. Just something I would be wary of. You could also have a stolen dragon here. You know, a lot of things that are possible. We see the counter still hanging around here as well, because now it's a mind game thing, right? It's an investment. So the Wukong knows she did the Raptors because she showed up bottom lane with 12 CS. She would have taken the top scuttle. She showed top lane as well. He did a blue grub wolves that gives her 28, and now she has 32 when he sees her on the bottom lane here, which means she most likely took one of those camps, most likely Raptors, and so he's not going to waste time trying to counter jungle. Instead, he goes back into his camp here, takes his grub, can't invest so much time ganking, and this is where the downside comes in, because while you can play this champion in this meta, and in most metas, if you're a skillful QIYANA, use your enchantments correctly and so on, I don't like the QIYANAs that kind of just chill and look for ganks like this. Like, look at this. He's mind gaming with the Wukong, but he's up 9 CS. Now, obviously, he's going to go into this, so you can say, oh, look, results based, I'm such a genius. Nice Q3 onto the Seraphine there, and of course, QIYANA dashes it and helps do the damage. Seraphine is able to get a kill, though. Now we can shift onto the top side and get this RNG scuttle. We can also steal his red if we were feeling a bit more mobile and confident, because again, the big shift in the meta that's driving this behavior that we're seeing from other junglers is no last encounter in 5 minutes. So basically, if you steal this, you better be able to walk around, go over a wall, or walk around, and hopefully you don't get collapsed upon by top laners and mid laners, especially when this guy is in base and this guy was dead. Also, with these waves coming quicker, the window of opportunity for ganks is quite slight. So you need to look, predict, track, watch wave states, look at the matchups, understand it better, and really sync up your dives ahead of time, more so than we were doing before. Also, you can hold waves and still dive. It's just, you know, room for error is a little bit down, and everything is just a bit more fast-paced because of that. I don't think I like seeing this kind of style where you're just absolutely wasting time, because great tempo control, right? Cross, brilliant, awesome. Bases, of course, bases first and then does all of this. This is all great. We take this. Now what? We know the Wukong's gonna be doing this and this. Do we have kill threat here at all? No? Then why are we going? To dive this, but he's coming, so we're going to be collapsed on a 2v2. Do we even want to do that when the wave isn't diveable and we have the new minion aggro changes underneath turrets? No. So do we go into the jungle to counter jungle, to kill, or to gank? Which one is it? And if we don't really know fully, you're going to see that kind of hesitation sitting in a brush. And then we go bottom lane, we invest way too much time because now we're mind gaming with the Wukong, and it just stalls the game out so much, and I'm not a fan of that. Although we are 6 now, we have here Zeri plus Amelia, which is going to flash, get that dash knock up, boom, goes the support. And now obviously the Jan is going to do the flash insect savior play, thank you so much. Wukong shows top lane, so now we breathe a sigh of relief. The wave will show a little bit faster, so again, nice benefit here as well. And you see the monkey detaching from the top wave here. Now the TP's being committed by the Seraphine. Oh my goodness, we're able to actually just catch it on camera, live in 1000 HD, Giga Galactic HD. Nice dive, interesting TP to kind of try and, you know, salvage the situation. A little bit unlucky, but again, I'm not a huge fan of the just chill and zone. And the kind of watch and hover. The Silas had a much better game plan in the previous video, so if you want to enact QIYANA, I would prefer you to use that kind of style. QIYANA still has the ability to farm though. You know, as Wukong greets for this, gets clapped upon by laners, you have to pay attention to the fact that your Nico maybe didn't want to be in the situation, your Seraphine didn't want to be in the situation. Also, your Seraphine was bottom lane, so she couldn't be in the situation even if she wanted to be in it. So straight up you had a 2v2 scenario. And you have to ask, was my Nico ready to do it? Yes or no? Yes or no? And it looked like she was not, unfortunately for Wukong. So we would have had to give that up, actually. In the meantime, the counter just says, you know what, whatever, don't care about that, it's going to dive the bot lane again. Really bringing my threat to life on Twitter yesterday, a bit of a meme thread, but yeah, Path Bud is what I said, and the subsequent comments were, you mean Path and then Camp? And I said, of course, that's implied, as you can see. So we're definitely seeing a lot of proactive outside in-rule ganking here. Leave the base, jungle's not in the picture, gank the lane, full back. Cool. But I definitely want to see a bit more sequencing. Excuse me, why? Why are we doing this? Do we have the ability to kill the QIYANA? Do we want to even go for this? I mean, I don't think we can. She got the camera, now she's going to dash in here again. Wukong's going to go back in here. He doesn't have ultimate. She has her ult up. Just a boom, boom, boom. An REQ and the guy dies. It's a silly invade this. This is a desperation invade. Desperation invade, because we see her down here. But this is the benefit that we have with QIYANA. When you control that first clear into the gank to take away the guy's gank, you take away the mid lane gank, you get here first as well. If you were just to control your camps, like direct counter jungling into the gank, pull back to your quadrant, gank again, take the dragon, a bit more flow to it, you'd get the same outcome. But you'd have more denial, jungle denial, and you'd have a lot more CS yourself. But point being, we're still forcing the Wukong into desperation ganks and pathing because of our activity and just total map control, which is absolutely wonderful, wunderbar, and we love it a lot. But QIYANA's still up 10 CS. So get another dash and kill there. Now she's up 10 CS, well, was before that detachment into the top lane. And she has 6 kills and 3 assists and 0 deaths. And she gets this Herald, because no one gives a shit about this. Have you noticed in a lot of these videos? I don't care about this. It's a bit of a tempo bait. You know? I gank bottom lane, we shove out. Now you can do dragon, and you almost have to because the Wukong's out of position, much like this Jenna is. So it's curious as to why she's there exactly, but more so, you know, you gank bottom lane, you force the shove, you have to leave because their bottom lane's coming back down. The enemy jungler's like, well, I better do something. So he takes this, and out of base, you just go straight and take the Herald, you know? That kind of stuff, it's useful. Here we have 12 minutes 22. We have obviously the increased resistances on the place. Might as well just activate this here. I don't know why Casante's loitering here. Just be here and shove this. Get gold for yourself. This is an absolutely stupid mid lane contest. Unless you want to infuse your QIYANA, which is very selfless. Maybe that's what he's doing. Maybe he's just a genius. Maybe he's not a genius. QIYANA's got a flank here, obviously. We're going to get, I mean, we could have actually finished it off, but now they're just hanging around so much. We do have ult available as well, but we don't want to die for this. We want to try and fight. Here we go. There it is. Nicely done. Cleanse burn on the backside from Zeri there. Milio's going to be killed as well. We got the camouflage here from the enchantment. Can we get the over the wall? Yes, we can. Another person? Or did they base intelligently? Why did she come here? Just leave? I mean, I suppose it's less of an issue now, but I would prefer just to leave and not die. Here we go. Alright, so, but in the meantime, this is what I'm talking about, right? One gank top lane, even a little drive-by, a little cheeky hello. And, you know, we came back later to, of course, clean things up and help out a little bit, but, you know, a lane that can kind of handle themselves, you definitely want to give them one cheeky little gank. And well, that's all they really need sometimes, especially if you get there ahead of the enemy jungler and the top laner can use that lead to stop the gank from happening. The Wukong is just compromised, but she was still up on CS until that very moment where we died. So the Wukong's equal, but he's 2-3-2. So it's a case of, hey, like, I am telling you to farm a bit more cohesively and within the flow of ganking in most of your games, you will have better success that way. But if you have the right pathing and you have the right control, the enemy jungler is not really going to know what to do about it, and you'll still end up with that lead. So the Ezreal died. I had to go back and get this because it's so classic, isn't it? Hey, let's camp bottom lane. Still dies. There's a Nico. Well, not the real Nico. Here's a QIYANA. Can we get the right person? Obviously, that's yeah. I hate clone gaming, but here we go. We're just going to basically execute, I think. Did we get it? Yeah, we do. Well done. Now, QIYANA obviously will basically leverage that into counter jungling because we saw the Wukong down on the bottom side. Zeri gets a kill. The Ezreal gets shut down. Ezreal players amazing. We scan, we clear. I mean, we could go deep for some counter jungling. I don't think there's a reason to necessarily overcommit here with the Cassante wanting to go back to base and TP to the bottom wave. You know? Easy, we can do this. We can shadow the guy that's winning. Always shadow the guy that's winning. Because he'll collapse on this. Hello, Wukong. Tornadoed. Ah, he's reached Divine Sundra spike. Do you want to fight this over your red team? Like, do you straight up want to really fight this with the Mundo having prior here? Here comes a Zeri. You do have advantage, but if the counter has ult, you're absolutely screwed and doomed. Also, Ezreal will be rotating. Zeri hops over the wall. The Mundo's unkillable at this stage. His W is active. He activates it again to get that Grey health heal. And obviously with his ult pumped, he was just infusing himself with Venom healing juice. K'Sante splitting on the bottom wave. Okay. So they get a kill on the Janna. Cool, that's fine. Nice. Hey, well done. Whatever other typical generic word you want to use for excitement. Ezreal's going to W that and snack the turret. In the meantime, we have the QIYANA going in here. Still holding that ult. Actually, quite interestingly, the K'Sante now shoves and cuts from the bottom wave. Important to note, shove and cut here to join this fight. That's okay. I mean, if you're red team, you'll take the pick. As long as you didn't lose too much. Still, though, was a little closer than I was thinking, but Trinity Force Zeri is back, unfortunately for us. QIYANA flanks. QIYANA's looking for the ult. Oh my goodness gracious, that was beautifully done. Nice three-man knockup pushback. There we go. Hitbox is always very good on that ability, I think. Kiting back. Janna distributes the Wukong into the pile of shit that he doesn't want to be in. And now it was the Ezreal arcane shifts of the wall, and yeah, that's pretty much what you can expect here. Sun is 1v1ing a lizard on the bottom side. I don't know, it's devolved into chaos. But as you can see, the reason why a lot of these videos now are just faster is because games are faster. This new meta is definitely faster. But if you are a good player and you're able to get fed and remove the enemy jungler from the game, get yourself fed, get your laners fed, and then push the map continuously, you always have the ability to end games quickly. Always. It's just whether you're actually doing it. And it's a mental state, right? Gank this, don't fall back to this, go here. Now, even though we had to pull out, we still shadowed and pushed, and we still get everything from this. Nice flank, engage. Kill everyone, take another turret, take all of this stuff here. K'Sante pushes this up. Now we can fall back to Dragon if necessary. We can go back to base. We have 2,400 in the pocket. So the K'Sante here should not be here dying. There we go. Don't want to have that again. You know, where they don't die and then, you know, it's silly. But yes, he died. He had to die. Good. 10-1-5. Prowler's Claw, Ghostblade, Last Whisper being built. See what I'm saying? This doesn't matter that it's QIYANA. This could be a Karthus. This could be a Kindred. Even in this state, it could be a Balveth instead. Graves, Rengar, it doesn't matter. When you're able to get fed, all right, as we went to the Wolves thinking we can maybe do Grump, Scuttle, we see the Dragon spawning up. Shit, silly me, I gotta go down to the Dragon, so we cut. So a lot of the times you'll see me trying to pseudo-explain a lot of that kind of stuff, but sometimes it's just somebody making a mistake. Like, why would they go to Wolves here? Not Grump. Why would they go to Wolves at all if the Dragon's spawning? Sometimes people just miss things. Like, hey, I'm having fun, I'm really fed, it doesn't really matter what I do. Oh shit, the Dragon. That's it. There's no hidden reason why the QIYANA's on the Wolves there. Ideally, we don't even go to the Wolves at all. Ideally, we just kind of do the Krugs Raptors cut into the Dragon, and of course that top side will be for us. If the Dragon's up in like 90 seconds, what you can do is do your Wolves, Grump, Scuttle, cut through mid lane, take the Dragon, and then if there's nothing you can do like in terms of objectives and shoving, because everyone dies, then you can fall back to your red side. Otherwise, most likely you're shoving, taking their stuff, hitting a Baron, hitting a remaining Rift Herald, because apparently it's only 18 minutes into the game. You see the kind of stuff that we talk about. Mental state is so big when it comes to this kind of behavior. It's nothing to do with your mechanics, right? Hey, this is dragging up. I got 90 seconds. Boom, 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 boom. Or, hey, I got 90 seconds. Da, da, da. Also fine. But the RNG Scuttle here kind of gives me that one. I would probably do the bottom side, Krugs, Raptors, Dragon, if it was a bit later in the game and the Baron was the play. Because, you know, most likely people are starting to group a lot more. Death spawn timers are longer. You kind of want to just shadow your team and be in the right position. In this case, though, doesn't really matter. It's all semantics and nonsense. Make sure you get the Dragon, make sure you get the Herald, activate that sucker. We see the Wukong on the bottom side. Mundo is dead, Ezreal is dead. Who cares why? They're probably in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong brain. We activate. Actually, we don't activate. It's probably the right decision. I mean, you could have just to break it open, but we might as well save it for a game-winning push at this stage when you have such a big lead. And again, the lead, look at this. 11,000 gold on the QIYANA, 6,800 on the enemy jungler. The enemy team has 8.5 and 0. That's the highest. On the blue team, 8.5 is the third highest. That's a huge team win. Why? Because we camped bot. Because we ganked mid lane once. Because we ganked top lane once and then again came back later. And now we are using outside in rule all the time, right? We are leaving the base. Can I do anything here? Okay, no, then I'll do my camps. But because we're so far ahead, obviously... Also that. Ghostblade, lethality passive does help with our damage output. It is a little bit disgusting. As you can see here, well, Melee is pretty donkey with the Airy there. All right, we're pushing this one up here. Yeah, Ghostblade does help. Ghostblade lethality spike does help, and now we can push for an inhib here. Mundo and Ezreal again, like they're wandering the nomadic deserts of old. I don't know what they're doing. We can just go ahead and end the game. Q3, follow up with a dash, chuck out Q, get the kill. Obviously the Herald will do most of the tower bashing here, so don't really need an ADC. But again, like it would be nice if our whole team was here. Yeah, they can go 2-man the Baron. This is the thing, right, that I tweeted about as well. Tweeting quite a lot recently. You only need 2 people to do this. And as a jungler, I would like to be the one that's doing it. I do like to be the one that's doing it, but it's just something that's way too easy to snack. There should be way more going on here. Honestly, I would prefer if it was dynamic. Moved around the pit, had a whole bunch of different mechanisms, random mechanisms. You couldn't have the same 2 games in a row. Something really final boss-like. This should not be snacked at 21 minutes. End of story. There's no reason for it whatsoever. Why did we go back so far? I don't want to go back far. Goodness gracious, game. Here we go. I wanted to watch this again. The disengage while they were doing that. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you agree, because I mean, Elder Dragon is obviously a bigger boss fight. She R'd into spot and then died. Doesn't really savor, does it? Everyone back to base. Mundo through the magical Hextech Gate of Destiny, I suppose. Push this one out, straight up ending games quickly. So if you want to end games quickly, you gotta have that mental state in focus, but also you gotta ensure that your jungling is fundamentally sound. Because if you're coming out of every early game behind or neutral, in your MMR, for example, you're not getting as fed as you could, because you have to imagine what would a Smurf-like jungler do in the early game to be fed such that they can just do this by 22 minutes. And you're saying, well, their lanes are good. That's nonsense. If you've been watching this channel for the 3 years it's been up, we started with coaching vids, we went into this high elo gameplay analysis 2.5 years ago. You can't tell me that for 2.5 years, the only reason any of these junglers won is because their laners were better. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous, because I do see that kind of stuff. No, it's you. They make their laners better, they are fed, they shut down the enemy jungler, their laners can just exist happily, knowing the enemy jungler's not going to come and kill them because they can't, and their jungler's taking everything and killing them, and pushing them forward objective-wise and turret-wise. That's the message, but also the message is QIYANA jungle with Ghostblade, Prowler's Claw, Last Grudge, Last Whisper, whatever, Cyrilda's Grudge, Serpent's Fang. It works. See you in the next one.